Bro, dropshipping is so easy, you'll be printing money in just a few weeks.
Derek's mouth started dripping with wet drool after these wise words were spoken by his favourite dropshipping guru. And when he saw his guru's profile picture had a banana yellow rented Lambo in the background, he instantly knew he must be the real deal. Yes, I'm finally going to get rich. But after 3 months of following the guru's repackaged PDF course that had no ongoing support, he knew he had been scammed. He felt a sharp punch in the gut as he looked at his Shopify dashboard in disappointment. Maybe trying to sell pure trash products from China that breaks within 1 week isn't my ticket to quitting my 9 to 5. Derek then fell into a crippling depression. If only he'd spent his $1,000 in savings on running ads instead of a hyped up PDF course. He decided to just accept his low income status and give up on the idea of owning his own banana Lambo. But then something magic happened. One night, scrolling YouTube, he came across a long, blonde-haired YouTuber named Defog, who had an oily six-pack that was so tight it rivaled the Liver King's. He was known for spreading the gospel truth about e-commerce. You gotta get that sound effect. And was considered a god in the space because he had actually built a real legitimate business. This golden-haired hero majestically rode towards Derek on his noble metaverse steed and said, "Derek, my son, come with me and I'll show you the true way to e-commerce riches without selling you a $1,000 PDF." People think it's easy to get rich with dropshipping.
It's called dropshipping.
But all it means is basically it's a way to fulfill orders.
Companies going public.
That's why in today's video, I'm going to cover why I think dropshipping is the biggest scam of 2022. Yep, bigger than Fire Festival, bigger than Theranos. Being pushed by thirsty YouTube gurus that are preying on beginners. I wanted to finally make this video and put the argument to rest to prevent you getting scammed. Then I'm going to show you the real way on how to create a profitable business. Firstly, we're going to cover what dropshipping actually is, the business model. Secondly, we're going to cover the 3 main reasons that dropshipping is e-commerce suicide. Thirdly, I'm going to cover the psychological tactics that these gurus are using to prey on beginners. And then finally, I'm going to cover the exact framework that I've used to create profitable e-commerce businesses. And no, there's going to be no PDF involved. Dropshipping is best explained with a simple story. A dropshipper will go to a factory in China and buy the product for $20. Let's say it's a massage gun. They'll then set up a website, usually on Shopify, and then list it at a marked up price, let's say $50. They can then buy the product from the supplier and ship it directly to the customer, making about $30 profit. About $30 is generally spent on advertising like Facebook or another digital platform. Now this model has become more and more popular. You don't need to hold too much inventory and it doesn't take a lot of cash to start. But be warned, there's issues of dropshipping that will stay with you for the rest of your life if you do it improperly. With inflation skyrocketing and a recession just around the corner, lots of people are starting a side hustle. In fact, 37% of Americans since the pandemic have started some form of side hustle. Unfortunately, dropshipping is one of those. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some things I like about dropshipping, which I'm going to get into in a minute, but the risks outweigh the benefits. While everyone's talking about the old dropshipping model, there is a successful way to launch e-commerce businesses without the risk of the social media overlords banning you from all platforms. This is in fact the exact strategy that I used to take the Oodie to over 450 million in sales in just 4.5 years and put me on the Australian Financial Young Rich list just underneath Margot Robbie at 57th. Sorry about that, Leo. I firmly believe that if I started with dropshipping, I wouldn't be on that list today. So let's jump into the 3 main reasons that dropshipping isn't going to achieve what you want it to achieve. The first reason is platform bans. Platforms like Facebook, Google, TikTok, they spend hundreds of millions of dollars to improve their customer experience on their platform. They're not going to allow some dropshipper to send them a crap product that breaks all the time. To manage this, Facebook introduced customer feedback scores. You might have seen these after buying something after seeing an ad on Facebook. All these platforms have different ways of measuring whether you're a fraud or not, and dropshipping generally ends up in the red. In 2021, Google alone suspended 5.6 million ad accounts. But one of the scariest platforms out there is PayPal and payment processing platforms, because they can seize all your money that's in the platform. On paper, these payment platforms say things like lots of sales in a short period of time, or lots of refunds, or long delivery time will result in your account being banned. All of these things fall right in the wheelhouse of dropshipping. I know someone that took an e-commerce store to $500,000, $500,000 a month revenue in just 3 months, and then PayPal banned their account. They had over $800,000 seized in their PayPal. They even had 2-day shipping time. Could you imagine if you had 14 to 30-day shipping time like most dropshipping stores have? These platforms are fickle, and you need to really think about the customer and their policies before launching an e-commerce store. I think the most frustrating thing about this for me is I'm in this Skype group with amazing entrepreneurs. These are next centimillionaires and will create great brands. They are always talking about where they can get their next ad account or next payment method account because all of theirs has been banned and they're off these platforms for life. This is valuable time that they would much rather be spending on improving their customer service and introducing new products. The second reason why dropshipping isn't going to make you rich is because there's no repeat customers. As of September 2020, Amazon had a 93% repeat purchase rate for prime customers. Compare that to a dropshipping store that on average has 3 to 8%. I think it would be very hard to find in history a business that has sold for over $100 million with 3 to 8% repeat purchase rate. Eventually your whole customer audience is going to be served by your product and nobody is going to come back. The main reason Amazon's return customer rate is so high is because the company is obsessed with customer service ever since inception in 1994. They're focused on the best price and the best delivery speed, two things that customers really care about. Think about dropshipping with a 2 to 4 week delivery time and think about how the customer is going to feel after purchasing that. Not only do customers never come back, but they also give you negative feedback scores on certain surveys like Facebook or even websites like Trustpilot, which kills your future conversion rate and it can even get you banned off platforms, as I said. Anyone that's ever run a dropshipping store knows it's really hard to provide a good customer experience. There's two major reasons for this. The first one is long shipping time. Most people use the option of AliExpress standard shipping to try to save money on margin. This means the product won't arrive from China to the country in 30 plus days. Amazon has trained customers to expect their products in 1 to 3 days, something that e-commerce is trying to catch up to. So you can just imagine how many negative reviews, negative feedback scores that you're getting on platforms like Facebook and Trustpilot when it takes 30 days for the product to arrive. Plus with overseas shipping, there's generally more issues because couriers need to hand off to other services in localized countries. It'll start with one courier in China, then it will transition into something when it comes into like the UK. It might even change hands 3 times. This causes tracking issues, which also creates a negative customer experience. The second reason why it's really hard to provide a good customer experience is because you're trusting your factory to drop ship the product from China. There can be huge quality problems with this. They can sneak in an inferior product and it's very hard to know. By the time the product finally arrives, the customer has given you a negative review and you're banned off the platform. I personally was banned off PayPal from the age of 14. This cost me millions and millions of dollars when I started the Oodie. It was only until we were doing $100 million that we were able to start selling with PayPal. By introducing PayPal to a legitimate e-commerce business, you can increase your conversion rate by 10 to 20% on some stores. I've seen landing pages optimized for that. You don't have to be a math genius to know that we lost millions of dollars by not having that option. And the final problem that kills dropshipping stores is there is no product uniqueness. Anyone can sell your product. This Google Trends graph shows just how popular dropshipping is getting as millions of people entered the industry. When dropshippers find a winning product, generally they'll launch more and more ads. The way that other dropshippers find products is they go onto something like AdSpy and they look at the social engagement on the ad. When they see something that is scaling, meaning it's going up in likes, they will then go and find a manufacturer on AliExpress and start dropshipping within the week. This means that they're selling the exact same product. What will happen then is they'll both be launching very similar ads on the same digital platforms that are auctions. They'll then be competing each other, which means advertising costs will rise. To compensate for this, they generally find cheaper and cheaper suppliers. The supplier is trying to win as much business as possible, so the cheaper they can make the product, the more customers will actually flock to them. This vicious cycle then repeats and repeats until you get a product that basically doesn't even work. If you've ever bought something from a dropshipping store, chances are it's broken in 2 to 4 weeks and you're left out of pocket. So if the dropshipping model has so many problems, why aren't we hearing about them? Why are we just seeing people with Lambos on YouTube, Instagram, touting how great it is? Well, I'm going to expose one of the biggest scams in the industry and explain how these YouTube gurus use psychological tricks to sell a repackaged PDF with no ongoing support with predatory pricing. Before we get into that, I want to clarify, there are some great people in the industry, people that are there to help and people that actually know what they're doing because they've had a successful business before. When I talk about thirsty YouTube gurus, I'm talking about people that have never had a successful business and barely know what they're doing, selling you packaged information that they're finding off YouTubes like this one and charging you thousands and thousands of dollars, the money that you need to get started. As Naval said, There's no such thing as a get rich quick scheme. That's just someone else getting rich off you. There are lots of studies out there that show that the human brain is wired for laziness. Our brains will bias to the easiest option even though we kind of know that it doesn't make sense. These gurus will prey on that behavior. All they need to do is create a fake Shopify dashboard. They right click, go inspect, change the numbers, screenshot, and share it. That's why it's so important before you spend the well-earned money that you need to run ads on a course and research the person that you're listening to. What if I told you there is a way to succeed with e-commerce? You can skip the account bans, you can skip the negative reviews, and you can build a business that actually provides value in the world, rather than waste all your time building a soulless dropshipping store. So, how do you get rich with e-commerce? I'm going to break down a 5-step process. But first, let me acknowledge that there are some great things about dropshipping. If you're a new kid just getting started, you don't even know what an ad account is, and you have a few bucks, you can get into the platform and get your first sale. You can build your Shopify store. Chances are you're going to make mistakes and you're not going to make any money, but it's better that you only lose $500 than have to invest $2,000 in inventory and lose all of that. However, once you are feeling experienced in getting a few sales, you need to transition into this 5-step framework that I'm about to talk about. The second reason why you could use dropshipping is validating product ideas. Even if you're a successful business, you can just test a couple of product ideas, a couple of use cases. What problems are they solving? Test that product and then customize it yourself. Now I can hear those beginners yelling at the screen, I don't have $500 to get started. Well, then you're gonna have to save up. You can either build some skills, go get a job at McDonald's, it doesn't matter, but you do need at least $500 to get started. If you're one of those entrepreneurs that only has $500 to their name, you don't need to buy anything from anyone, including myself. Now, I found over 5 products that have done over $10 million in sales, including the Oodie, which has done over $450 million in sales by not going onto AliExpress, by not using an ads buy tool, by running a process. This process involves going onto Alibaba, finding a product that isn't saturated, making sure it's not saturated in the market that I want to sell it on the platform that I want to sell it on. I also make sure that it has a safe contribution margin, meaning it's got a good profit per unit so I can spend enough on advertising, allowing me to get it in front of lots of people's faces. I'm so obsessed with this process that I actually tried to build a tool internally for myself. This product does everything that I just mentioned. It finds the trend, it says where the trend is scaling, it looks at all the digital marketing that's going on behind that trend, and then it even goes to suppliers in China and gets a quote on the pricing, so it's ready for you to contact the supplier. Now again, I preface this, if you don't have over $500 and you're just getting started, you do not need a tool, not even from me, you just need to get started. One other little tip if you want to protect your business is pick a product that is over 3 kilograms, because dropshippers will not be able to steal it, lower the quality, and lower the trust for that product category by making people think that it's a dropshipping product. The second step once you've found your product is you need to make sure that it's unique. There's lots of ways you can do this. You can really focus on the branding using a creative director or yourself, just study branding, make the packaging incredible. But the second way is make the product use case more useful for a certain demographic. Let's say you find a trend in the adult skincare business. You could try to use that trend and incorporate it in for a different demographic, such as kids. This isn't an easy process and you'll need to be creative, but it's worth it. This is how you're going to create a $100 million brand. The third step is to find a great supplier. Now you can go onto Alibaba and filter and ensure that trade assurance or it's a gold supplier to make sure that they are going to be legit. You can ask the supplier for customer references. You can also ask them for samples and really inspect their product quality. You want to make sure that they have great communication skills, because chances are something's going to go wrong and you're going to need them to sort it out for you. The fourth step is setting up a branded website. Rather than using content from the dropshipping supplier on AliExpress, which can get you banned, you need to shoot it yourself. This doesn't need to be expensive. We shot all of this content just using our iPhone for our Lemon Scrub series and created a custom brand website that people trusted. And then the fifth and final step is setting up a 3PL in the country that you want to scale out. Send 50 to 100 to 2,000 pieces to this 3PL so that you can provide your customers a 1 to 5 delivery time. All of the payment platforms and Facebook are going to love you for that. If you're looking for a reliable 3PL, make sure you do reference checks for previous customers that they've used. Make sure that you check about their capacity. Can they scale up with you? Do they seamlessly integrate with something as simple as Shopify? If not, that's a huge red flag. Do they use barcodes? Because you really want to make sure that they are organized. Finally, you can use LinkedIn, contact brands that are using that 3PL and ask about their experience. Not only will this allow you to create a $100 million brand, but it will allow you to not build a soulless dropshipping store. It'll allow you to hire amazing people that believe in your mission and your product. You can do cool partnerships with major brands. You can get into wholesale accounts like the big retail chains chains in the United States, doing hundreds of millions of dollars sales there. You can even get celebrity endorsements because people love your product so much. In other words, you can build something you are proud of. For all of those people that are saying that that is just too hard and dropshipping's easier, go watch our How to Build a Brand series. If an average bloke from Adelaide is able to build a brand that's done over $450 million in sales, you can too. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.